Good morning, my precious viewers. This is a continuation to a great topic on GDL scripting. As promised last time, I said I will be making a ceiling using the same scripting, and here we are today. Welcome, keep locked, and let's do this together. Now, I'll start with what I want us to design. As from the picture you can see, this is the ceiling that I want us to design. And I know it will provide a very exciting moment for me and for all of us as we do this. As you can see, we have two levels for this ceiling. This is the outer ceiling. This happens to be the inner ceiling. These are the wooden slats. These small rectangles are rights that I'll be using the circular ones. And you can see there is hidden writing. That means the ceiling has some space to create space for the hidden writing, and therefore we'll be working towards that. The first thing that you need to do is to make your plan. This is very important. You must always make a plan of what you want to do and also consider the parameters that you'll be using. I've already sat down and did all this so that we don't waste time, and for purposes of wasting no more time, I'll just write down these parameters and then we continue. Thank you. As you can see, I've transferred all my parameters to this area, and I had to come through new object in order to come to this place. Now, as you can remember, we said that we do our design work on the 3D page here. So we'll start from here, and mark you, I need to remind you that our space is 4.4 meters by 5.1 meters. The advantages of having ceilings made using GDL scripting is that they are able to be customized, reusable. You can customize this ceiling to any space because it now becomes an object and makes it easy to refabricate into any space as long as it's a square without any other extrusions. So let's go to our 3D. As you can remember, always do comments for titles. Let me do the title first. We start with the author. Duke, the interior designer. You should include a lot, but for me I'll just do the simple ones. Date, today is 07 March 2023, and you can write what you are doing. Project new gypsum design, new gypsum ceiling design. Then cross off. Now after this you need to do what we call the go subs. Let's start with the subroutines. I'll create the first subroutine, if you remember, just a number with the colons and then a return, and it has to be followed by a go sub to make it active. Always, and finish the go subs with end statement. So let this cater for the outer ceiling. Let's do another one. We can improvise as we go along. 200 for inner ceiling. And then 300 for wooden struts. And then 400 for rights. Again, duplicate these ones and rename accordingly. 1, 2, 3. So 200, 300, and 400. It's always good to have subheadings so that you know what you're doing. You can copy this one. This is the outer ceiling. You can center this. Copy this and give it some space. Copy this now. Go to the other one. This is the inner ceiling. Sorry. Then copy this again. This is the wooden struts. And for us to get more space, after the last item, just enter several times so that you can be able to scroll. And then copy this, paste, and this will be our rights. We are good to go. Check the script to see whether you have any error. Click OK. Now, remember, whenever you're designing anything, it's always good to have the Cartesian graph. So the green lines represents the Cartesian graph for our drawing. That's meaning that this will be our A. The 4400 is our A. 5100 is our B. As per the Cartesian, this will be negative, negative, positive, positive. So remember the drill that we've been having as we create our desk. So I'll start with this first point here. Then come here, move to this one, just like that. Or I use different methods to create this. There are several. I can create first the whole rectangle and then we remove the other parts. And I think that makes sense to me. So let's start from this point. Come here, come here, come here. So let's go. That's the outer ceiling. The first thing that we need to remember is to do the material. Come here, check the outer ceiling material. It's this one. Copy it here. You also need the pen, but it's always good to define the pen up here. A pen. I'll use the contour pen for everything. Good. And then remember, we are using prisms. Whenever you want to draw rectangles, even circles, always use prism. So go to prism underscore. Ours will have 5 points because we said, let me go back the drawing. We have the starting point, number 2, number 3, number 4, and then come back to the starting point. That makes it 5 points. That's why I have these points. And then you can take the ceiling height. That will be the height. And then we do the coding. As usual, it's minus a divided by 2. This point is a, because remember, we are dealing with a. This is the length of the ceiling, and it's at the edge, so it is minus a divided by 2. And b again will be at the edge, divided by 2. And remember the number 15. Go to the next point. You can copy this. This will be the opposite for a. Copy. We are now coming to this point here. Remember, it will be a will be positive and b now becomes positive. Yeah, for this side, a is negative but b is positive. A is negative, b is positive, and then always copy the first point, bring it here, but change 15 to -1 to show that's the end. Check your script. Pen number is less than 1. Let's go back, and I know why. You see, we used the length parameter instead of the pen. So number 81. Should now be okay. GDL is okay. Now, for us to see what we've done on the floor plan, you can see now we can't see anything, only on the front, but 2D view you can't. So come to 2D. Remember we said you write project 2, 3 to 70, and you can see our ceiling. Click on 3D view and you can see our ceiling is already defined. Oh, sorry, before we proceed, I forgot to give these sizes. The topmost ceiling will be 60, then there will be a spacing where you can do the strip writing, and then the bottom ceiling. Let's add the parameters. You can write top ceiling height, and then middle ceiling height, and bottom ceiling height. Copy this. This is 60. And this is 100. And this is the bottom 60. As per the first outer ceiling, I want us to create the top. So we write, let's copy top ceiling height. And remember, because it's at a higher position, we have to add a z height. So add z, and this will be the ceiling height minus the top. That's where our ceiling design will start, after the total ceiling height minus the top ceiling height. Then you can check the 3D. You can see it has changed. Now we need to cut. Now that's complete for the top ceiling. The actual designs of cutting that will be cut will come from the bottom ceiling. So let's do the bottom ceiling. In fact, we should have all of them renamed again. Bottom ceiling, bottom ceiling. The bottom ceiling is the same as the top ceiling. Copy, paste, but now with a difference. Now we have the bottom ceiling as the height, bottom ceiling here as the height, and then when it comes to add z, we will now remove the top ceiling plus the middle ceiling and also the bottom ceiling. And remember, whenever you do any add z, add x, rotation, we called them transformations, always delete. And you delete as per the number of transformations that you have. Here we have only one transformation. Here again is one transformation. Let's check our ceiling. And you can see we have two levels. This is the top level, this is the bottom level, and in between we have our middle ceiling. Let's cut our bottom ceiling to define the spaces that we have. We want to create this space, and we want to create this space also where you have the slats. As I taught you earlier, to start cutting anything from a solid, you continue from the last statement. This is our last statement, so add a comma, and now let's define our cutting. come to our design. So that means our first point of cutting will be here. So what do? This will be A divided by 2 minus this width, which happens to be outer ceiling width. So copy this and come here and say minus A divided by 2 plus, remember this is just a small maths. When you have a number that is negative and you want to remove something from it, you add. So always remember that. In terms of B, it's at the edge, so it remains as minus B divided by 2, 15. We go to the next point. The next point is here, this point here, and we need to write a parameter for it. Unfortunately, I haven't written it. Let's take the measurement, 3096. Let's write a parameter for that. Come here, can even include it up here. Let's say ceiling inner ceiling length, copy, paste. We've seen it's 3096. I think there must have been a few errors. That should be that 100. So this is what we'll use. Copy this. The other point that we need to work on is this one. As you can see, this point is beyond the zero line. It's on the other side. So we need to see the offset of this point from the edge. Come here, look for the offset. And as you can see, we have 2004. I think I must have skipped something here. Should be 2000. Come and write a parameter. Click here. Let's call that 0.1. 0.1 y offset. Copy 2000. So use this one. Copy. Go to 3D. And now we'll do A divided by 2 plus, let's paste what we've copied here and then copy this. The A part is correct, but this one is now in the positive minus our point. And delete this. Go to the other point. This is opposite of this, so whatever you've written, just write A as opposite. This is A minus, and then this point is opposite of this, the first one. So this point, copy, paste, again like that, and then take us to the original point. Sorry, it should be this, and then -1 again to finish. And then now remember we had 5 points, we've added 5 more, so add here plus 5. Check the script, it's okay, check, and as you can see, we've already removed that part. Let's hide the top part. In order to hide the outer ceiling, just comment it, and you can see this is what we have. Don't worry about this other part. This part will be against the wall, so you won't be able to see it. Once this is done, from our design you can see we have the inner ceiling. So we need to design the inner ceiling. Again, our starting point is here. Let's change things a bit here. Let's call this 210 bottom ceiling inner. Create another one for 210. Copy, paste, 210 bottom ceiling inner, and do a return. You can even copy everything we have here for bottom. But in terms of material, as we have seen here, it has its own material. Inner ceiling, yes. Copy, and then come here and write material inner ceiling, and then let's start. We are starting with this point. This point will be A divided by 2 in the negative, and then remove the ceiling width and the spacing. Come here, A plus into brackets, we are removing this, plus ceiling spacing. B remains the same because it's at the edge here. That's the first point. Let's first delete all of this. Copy this. Our first point is okay. The second point needs to be defined, which happens to be here. So as you can see, it's already past the 0 marker line. Get measurement for this area. It's 25, 55. Must have been an issue. So this is 2350. Come to parameters and give it 0.2y. 0.2y offset. It's 2350. Copy this. Go back to 3D. So it's b plus b divided by 2 minus our 0.2y offset. We go to the third point. That point, as you can see, it's in the opposite. So it's point number 2, but reverse the a value. Minus. And according to the other drill, the fourth point is point A reversed. Copy this. Paste. Again, reverse this one. Minus. Then copy the first point. Paste. Remember to put -1 to show the end. And then you can see the parameters are many. We only have 5 now. Check the script, it's okay. And let's see our design. Coming out quite well, quite well. That's finished. Now remember, we need to cut also this other part at the back. So let's do it right now. And this will be done under the bottom. Sorry, I misspelled this. Inner. This will be under the bottom ceiling. We did cut the first part. Let's cut the other part. So again, under the rust parameter, continue adding the comma. Let's go to the first point here. The first point is in the positive side. A is still in the negative, but B is in the positive. Let's start here. This will be minus A divided by 2 plus this outer ceiling width. Copy, paste, But in terms of B, again we are removing the 600. So we need to give this point a measurement. Let's do another point here. Point 0.3 y offset. Copy, paste. 0.3 y is 600. Copy this one. Come here. So it's b divided by 2 minus the 0.3. 15, remember, is the status. When you use the status of 15, it means you can see the edges of what you're drawing. Copy this, paste it below. So we were doing this point. Oh, sorry. I almost forgot. Yeah, we were here. So I also need to include the whole of this from the edge, from here to here. So let's make it 0.4. 0.4 y offset. And that is 800. To get to this point, you need an addition of the 600 and the 800. Come here and do, sorry, this is B. So the first point would have been 0.3 and 0.4. Then the second point will be less, which is 0.3 y only. Let's cross check so that we don't make a mistake. Yes, this point here is b divided by 2 minus the 600, which was 0.3. That's complete. Let's go to the other side. Remember, this is opposite of the second point. So copy this and reverse the signs. Minus. And then the other point here is the opposite of the first point. So this point here, reverse the signs, and then finish with the first point and make this as -1 to complete the drawing. And remember, we've added 5 more points. Check your script, still okay. Check it out. You can see for yourselves. That's already been cut. And our bottom ceiling is complete. Let's do the middle ceiling. The middle ceiling is made up of this line that you can see. We'll give it some depth, just a normal 50. Can give it a 50. Every place that you see this line, I'll be giving it a depth of 50. So let's give it a 50, like that. And we've already said from our parameters that our ceiling offset is 300. This means that from the edge here to this point here, I'm sorry, I should have given it a 150. It should be 150. It was meant to be 150. Because if you take measurements, you can see from here to here, it's 150. And then we have a 50 for the thickness. Let's write here another parameter, ceiling offset width. Ceiling offset width. Copy. And it is 50. So let's start with the first point. The first point is this one. Let's define the middle ceiling. So come here and copy this. and let's call this 220 middle ceiling. Let's create the 220 here. Copy this, the whole of this, and then delete some items. 220, and this is the middle ceiling. Good. And then the mid ceiling needs to be white for refraction of light, so I'll use the outer ceiling material. And then in terms of add Z, we are only removing the bottom ceiling so that it can be in its proper height. And this is now the middle ceiling. Middle ceiling height. We can delete all of this and then start. It's A divided by 2 plus outer ceiling. Let's cross check that drawing. It's A divided by 2 minus this. Then go back inside by the 150, the spacing that we've said, offset. Come in here, ceiling offset. So this time is minus ceiling offset minus. Remember, you want to come to this point, the farthest point here. So we remove the 50 again. Ceiling offset width. Good. And then we check the position of B. B is at the edge, so that one has no problem. So that's copied. Copy, paste. Go to the second point. The other point will be, let me first copy this by 50. It's at this point here. Remember, it's past the 0, mark, so it's in the positives here. So let's get the distance from the edge to this one here. Sorry, this and this. It's 1800. Disregard the 4. I know I made a mistake somewhere. Come here, under parameters, add 0.5y offset. And we said it's 1800. Copy this, and here it's b plus b minus the 0.5y. Copy this, paste. Remember, the third point is the opposite of this point here. So I'll be making no mistake if I said this is a plus minus this. And the other point, let me do this for the sake of those who may be following. 50. We've already done this point. Now I'm coming to this one. It's the opposite of the first point. Copy the first point, and then this is negative, positive, and this is negative. We continue. I want us to do this point. Is still what you've done minus the width. So it's this point here. Copy A, but now we remove the ceiling width. Can show you at this point it's the whole of the ceiling width minus the spacing, and that is what you've done. This the offset, sorry, outer ceiling width minus the ceiling offset. Then we come to this point here. It will be this point, that is point number 3. Just remove the ceiling thickness. Copy this, point number 3, remove the ceiling width. you're done. The other one is opposite of this point. So this point, copy, reverse the signs. Today I'm a bit fast because I know you already know what we are doing. Then we come to the last point here. It is this point reversed. So this will be point number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This point reversed. A reversed plus. And then we go back to our original. Copy the first point. It's very easy. Once you are able to determine these points, it's very easy. That one is opposite of the other, becomes very easy. This is negative. Now to show the end, then count the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. Check the scripts. Let's see. My guys, you can already see this is a separator. The work of this partition, it's like a partition, is to make the right spread, because we will be pressing our rights around here. It is easy for them to shine through into the space. Now let's do the other one at the end. We are now doing this offset. Let me just do the 50 first. 50, enter. 50, sorry. 50, 50. And then you join these lines together using this magic, this tool, intersect. Now we have the profile, how it will look like. We need to start with this point here. So where we have the middle ceiling, you just create another prism. Delete all these other, always good to delete this transformation. Let's delete this one. Delete one. I need to copy this and delete it down here. Let's first do the outer triangle and then we remove the inner triangle. So this point here can be defined by, let's remove all these measurements so that it becomes easier for us to see. This point is beyond the 0 point, so it will be on the upper side. Take measurement of this point, 1600. Let's call it 0.6. 0.6 y offset. 0.6, that's 1600. So copy this, come here, can delete all these many details and do our own. So it's A divided by 2 plus outer ceiling, remove all of this, then B, we've said it's in the positive, minus that point. Copy this, we go to the second point. Second point is this one. Again, look for the measurement. This is 400. Come and write another parameter. 0.7 y offset. 400. Copy this. Come here again. This is 0.7 7. As we've already said, this point is opposite of this one, so just copy this, minus, and without thinking I know the first point is the other one in the opposite. Again, change the signs, go to the first point and do a negative. Check for script missing parameters. Let's see, oh sorry, instead of 9 we need 5, and you can see our box has been done. Oh sorry, I've seen a small mistake. It's not all the way in, it should be as per this first point here. Let's see what was the measurement. It was this one. Copy, replace this, replace this one, and that. Good. Let's cut now the middle rectangle. We are cutting the middle triangle. The first point is here, like I've already said. Once you come to the final point, just add a comma and continue in order to cut. So it's like the first point here, but now you only remove this, the first point here. Remove the first point, yes, here. But in terms of B, again, you remove the width. In terms of B, why is it this one? 0.6 minus, remove the ceiling width. Minus the ceiling width. That defines the first point. Copy this. Go to the second point. We are here. Same for A, but for B, we can call it the 400 plus width. Come here, which happens to be point number 7. Now change the B part. Be careful here. So B, or let's say this point 0.7 plus the ceiling offset width. Let's check the 0.7 whether we are correct. 0.7 is 400, then add the width. We are correct. Now coming to this other side, it's the opposite of 0.2. So come to 0.2 here. Paste. Just reverse these ones. And then I know the other one is point number 1 reversed. You see how easy it is? Just reverse it. As long as you can get that drill, you are good to go. And then take the first point and then finish with a -1 to show you are done. And then add 5 more points here. Check, correct. My people, you can see. Now let's add our first ceiling. You only need to uncomment this one. You see, that's our ceiling. Let's do the wooden struts. For the wooden struts to be seen, let's comment again this one. Wooden struts are number 300. I'll use what we call conditional statements to do all of this. I'll just need to do one, and then the conditional statement can copy the other ones. And if you remember, we used a loop statement for I is equals to next, like that. So let's design the first one. Yeah, we are now doing the wooden struts. We check for the first point here. The first point, let's give it its own parameter. Come here, 1400. Go to parameters. Let's give it point number 8. Point 8 y offset. Copy. So it's A. Let's delete these fonts first. A divided by 2 plus the, sorry, we need to define the spacing between the struts. It's 480. So let me also define something here. Don't know whether I did the wood. No, it's not there. Strut spacing. It's 480. For our first point, it will be A divided by 2 plus outer ceiling width plus the strut spacing. And then B minus 0.8. The one you've done here, this 0.8. We go to the topmost point. We already know this is 400 between here and here. Oh, it's 600. I don't know whether that has been captured. This should be 0.3. Okay, come here. Can paste this one here. Copy this. For the A value, it remains, but for B, replace with this. And now we go to the other point. We are already here. We go to this one. We already know that our strut is 150. So when you copy this, mark you, I'm going in the clockwise direction. I've started with this one. I've come to this point. Now I'm coming to this point. So that means our A value changes. It's A divided by 2 plus, then plus strut width. Should be a wooden strut width. Copy, paste. B remains the same. Copy this. A remains, but our B is as per the first point. This one. And then we go to the original point. -1. Let's see these 5 points. Seem to have an error here. Checking the material is wood strut. Yes, I've not captured one point correctly, and that is the 4th point. The 4th point, let's check it out. The 4th point is coming up to here, which means it's the 1400. 1400 is this one. 4th point. Okay, there's an error here. Good, correct now. That's our wooden strut. But to make it beautiful, why don't we have this touching these borders that we have here? That would be better off. So that means we bring this all the way up to here, and this up to here, and then we change this point. So that means our point with 1400, we change it to 1550. 1550, and the point, this point here, 450. 600. So that means I'll have to make another one. Let's do 0.9. 0.9 y offset. we've seen it's 450. So replace the other point with 0.9. Come here, instead of 0.3, we are now dealing with 0.9. So remove this, copy, wherever we have 0.3. Errors are acceptable, and you can see our wooden strut is in position. Now, how do we copy this to make sure that we have 4 of them spaced in the right way? We need to introduce a final parameter here. We can do it even here and write n struts. This one is an integer, number of struts as per the drawing, 1, 2, 3, 4. So write 4, copy this, and now we ask ourselves, what space do we have for these struts? The space that we have is, in terms of line work, it's from here to here. I only need that space. So how do we account for that? It's the whole of A, then we remove the 1180. So let's say this. We create another parameter. Let's say struts offset. And we've said it's 1180. So let's go to 3D. Before we do the actual item, which is this one, we need to write a few things. So come here and say available space. Oh, sorry. We need it as a parameter. So available space. This is the available space where these struts will spread. Will be A minus the last item we did, strut offset times 2. Times 2. Why times 2? Because we are removing this space from here and this space to this one. Once that is done, now we get the number of bays, that is the number of spaces between, once you've done the strut, and you write strut base is equals to the available space divided by n struts. Then you come to the loop, say for I is equals to 1, 2, that these struts are starting from 1 to the number that you specify, the n struts. Then add x. Remember, this is along the x on our Cartesian. X, add the strut width. Strut width, where is it? Strut width, wooden strut width, minus the strut base. This one you just need to copy, it's very complicated. Plus I strut base. If you just write like that, it will come. And then finish. Remember, we've added an add x, so that needs to be deleted. It's a transformation. Then finish with next I. We check for errors. You can see we have an initialized variable, and after checking the errors, I've realized that after plus I, we need to do a multiply. Then, and as you can see, our wooden struts are already there. Let's return our top ceiling. And this is our ceiling. Can compare with what we have here, still the same. And now all we need to do is cut the rights out. So let's do it. Remember, all the rights will be on the bottom ceiling. So again, come to the bottom ceiling and this is where we'll cut. Again, remember you go to the last point and introduce a comma and continue. Let's go. Our first point, remember we are dealing with a circle. This will be a prism with 2 points. Let's define the x value, this first point. That's the x value. In terms of y, let's see, it's 650. Again, come here, introduce more parameters. You can come here, write this as right x right 1. Let's write right 1. Right 1 x offset right 1 y offset. X is 350, y is 650. Let's plot it. Again, come here, copy this, copy. It's a divided by 2, right 1, and then b is in the negative. You can see it's past this line towards the bottom. Remove the y offset. The y offset. Remember, when you are dealing with circles, we do different statuses. The first point marks the center of the circle, and therefore we use the code of 915. To draw the actual circle, we'll use a code of 4015. Let's see whether we've defined the radius or the diameter of the circle. Here it is. This defines the diameter of the circle, and therefore the second point will be defined by the radius of the circle. This divided by 2. We are going an angle of 360 and then 40, 15. Remember, we've added 2 points, so come here and add 2 more points. Let's check it out. Let me first cancel the first point here so that you can see. We've done it correctly, but with a small mistake. You can already tell that the x value is not correct. So let's come here. I'm saying here it is here. A divided by 2 plus outer, there. You can see we've already made a hole for this. Remember, once we put the top ceiling, you are not able to see the structure. I would recommend that we also do the same circle for the top, so that when you are pressing the rights, it's easier to know. I'll copy these two and then go to the top ceiling or the outer ceiling, and again add the 2 points, so that plus 2 points, no error, so that when we return our outer ceiling, you can see our right should be here. It will be very easy to work even when we are pressing these rights. Let me remove and comment it back. We go back here. The other right is this one. Again, the x value is sorted, but the z value is not. Again, it's at the bottom. Come here, go to the center of the circle, and this will be 1950. Introduce another point. This is right 2 y offset. You really have to be patient, but you are doing one of the best because this is a template you are creating. 1950. It may take time, but this will be used forever. You can use this design forever. Go to 3D, copy these 2 points, paste, This will be the same, but this will be 2y. Remove this. Again, remember to add the 2 points that you've added. You can see, let's add this also to our top here, plus 2. Now I don't even need to check. Let's go to the third point. This will be on the opposite side, so our measurement should be based on the other half. 1000. Add a parameter. Let me copy this. Right 3 offset 1000. Let's go to 3D. Introduce these two parameters again. This time A is okay, B is in the positive, but introduce 3 and you're good to go. Oh, sorry, points. Add the 2 points. Sorry, need to remove this comma as well. I marked this one. I need to mark this one as well. Let's do this. This is 2050. Introduce another point. That is, let me write here 2050 before I forget. Copy this. This is point number 4. Confirm again 2050. We go to our coding. Introduce another point. Paste. Remove the comma. This will be point number 4 and introduce other 2 points. Something is not adding up. Let me check out the mistake first. I've checked out for the error and like you could see, our 2 rights didn't come to the right place, and I've seen the error is here. The word right. Perfect. Yeah, you can see from our plan everything is correct. Now let's do the other side of the rights. This will be the opposites of what you have. Let me copy all of them. Copy all of this. Remember, those are 8 points. Add a comma. Add. So they are all of them 8 points. We just need to reverse. Add plus 8 points. Let's see whether there is an error. It's okay. Then reverse the first part. A minus 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 minus. Perfect. You can see all the rights are done. Let's copy the whole of it so that we copy it to the outer ceiling. Copy the whole of this. Sorry, let me just check out first. These were 2 points and 2 here. So if I copied all of them, they are 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. That's 8, 16. Okay, I'm good now. Copy all of this. Come here. Remove this. Then add 16 now. Good, you're good to go. And that is where our rights are sitting. We're now left with 2 more. Let's do the sizing. The Y is correct. That is as per the one with what? With the 1000. But the length, the X value is 1570. Create another. Point number 5. Right Y X offset. X offset, that is 0.1. 0.5 X offset 1570, if I'm not wrong. Yes, 1570. Go back to our 3D. It's a bit engaging, but it pays off. It is A, this is minus, sorry. minus A plus, we need the one with 1000. 1000 is this one, write 3. I can even write 3. B minus sorry, it is first x. X is this one, so should be this one. This should be right 3y. Okay, the other one should be opposite of this, so copy this, and now we have this as negative and this is, that is positive and this is negative. And move this comma, add 4 points plus 4 points. Let's add the 2 points. If they are correct, we'll be able to see to this other one, comma, add 4 points. Perfect. And you can see our ceiling. We seem to have an issue, but a closer look will tell you that the top ceiling we can cut, but for the bottom ceiling we already have a space, so we need to remove for the bottom. Let's remove for the bottom and remain with the top. Remove the 4 points. Good, and you are good to go. And we are done with our ceiling right now. All we need to do is try it out. I've already saved. I've saved the ceiling. Come here, go to objects and click, and that's our ceiling. Let's create some walls. I like creating my own walls. Come here to composites, choose single brick, new, decay 200 mm, make this wall 200, remove these other walls, line pen number 1, that's black. So when you come here, choose interior, you can create a wall now. Remember this ceiling is at 0 level, raise it to the right level. I want my ceiling to be at 2800. Guys, can see for yourself. Let's do a small render. Let me change a few things here. Let me do the writing. Writing will be very easy. Just click on one, choose the interior heights, click on this one, make sure that the diameter for this here is 100. Intensity to reduce to 10. That's okay. The pen for this can be changed to that. Click OK. Come to a 3D. What I need is to press that right here. So click, lamp. That's enough, just to show me exactly where the rights are. Select your right, try and match it with your circle. Perfect. Let's change the colors of these walls. And let's make this wall as our highlight. Let's do this paint. And let's change these ones to gray paint, light gray. Let's do a floor. And even do the wood pine for the time being. Let's add general writing. Give it 30. And the height I like putting at 2000. Just do a few. Do a marquee. You can see. Oh, sorry, these ones I didn't match with the ceiling. The other ones are okay, but these ones were a level higher. Let's do changes to our photo rendering. Go to settings, render settings. We need the lamps. Let's do this at 120 and the illumination at 200. Effects, ambient, caustic, environment. Let's do the sky. That's it for now. Let's see our render develop. And that's our final product. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share and give your reviews down there so that we can grow together. Have a nice day. See you another time. Thank you.